Yo, on the way over to a friend's house for like the last sleepover of maybe even my life. But I mean that's a bit dramatic, but like regardless. This video is about Harry Potter. Well, not just, but I want to come on here and just say like, damn, like Harry Potter. I just finished. I've never watched the complete series before, and I just finished it a few days ago, like a week ago. And like the creativity to like come up with such like a universe is like so hard. Like think about it. Like how do you even create a universe? Like obviously wizards. Everybody's like, oh yeah, of course wizards and Hogwarts and a school. Like it makes sense, but like to actually come up with it so hard. And I was like, how does someone even come up with this? And I got really into it. I mean, I was just looking at like behind the scenes and how did you come up with it. And apparently she was just on train. And she just thought of Harry Potter. And I guess the universe got created from there. But I'm recording, yeah. But you know what's kind of shocking? Is like all new movies and like things that are coming out, like if they're good, they're not original. And if they're original, they're not good. Because like there's zero good original ideas or even zero original ideas coming out. I mean, I can't speak for the entire film industry or creative media, but I think for the majority from what I've seen, it's like that. Like, Dune is probably one of the few good films that I've seen in the last few years. I mean, there's a few good films that I have seen that were new, but like, I don't know, like they're always like making new ones, like Mission Impossible, whatever. I don't even know. I watched it, but like, yeah, they're just making like prequels and series because there's no originality, and I think it stems from the nature of how our society has changed and individual lifestyle has changed. So you go in the bathroom, you bring your phone, and it's like there's no time for your brain. I don't know if this links to black matter in the brain. I've only heard that a few times being said. I don't know what that is, but I think that's related. There's no opportunity for you to like develop, right? Because okay, think about it. Harry Potter, like whoa, how interesting of a universe that somebody created, right? But guess what? J.K. Rowling, not somebody. J.K. Rowling would have been fucking bored for a long time to have created that. Like, bro, you had to have been fucking bored out of your mind to create another fucking, like, I don't know, I'm sorry, so you had to create another universe, you know? That's like, yeah. But where does boredom come from? It comes from like when you're on like a ride like this. And it's not about just plugging in music and just like, oh yeah. But like, you gotta just sit in silence and sit and kind of just like, you kind of have, your brain has to entertain yourself by like appreciating the world around you and just thinking, you know? I think there's not enough thinking, there's not enough boredom. I listened to a podcast now that I'm thinking about it and it links to this, and it was saying that there's no space for your subconscious mind to be thinking. You know, the best way when coming up with a film idea that I found is like, or like any concept, any kind of theory that you have to think hard about to write something like an essay, for example, TOK, Theory of Knowledge, is you think about it like, okay, how, so theory of knowledge is just like a philosophy type subject. Think about it, you're like, okay, how does I don't know, how does new knowledge change established values and beliefs? Okay, it's quite an ambiguous question. What am I gonna do about it? But you kind of gotta think about it like hard, like, okay, how does it? You're gonna try to think of an example, but then you just gotta not think about it. You gotta go for a walk and have no stimulus stimulating your mind, and just let your mind sit and think and kind of like in the back do its job and work. And I find that's the best way to think of anything and to have deep thinking. So you have to let your brain have those spaces and gaps. A great place for that is like, that naturally occurs is like when you're using the bathroom, right? Because you're using the bathroom and yeah, you can do that. Or when you're on public transport, because you know, you're just gonna sit there and think. But these spaces and gaps get taken up by our phones now. People just, you know, they have their phone, boom, they're just on their phone. And honestly, I can't say like I'm not a victim of this, or like victim of sound, bro, that sounds so hard. But like, I can't say I don't fall into this trap or this, I don't fall into that, because it's comfort, it's easy. It's easier to just take your phone out and get entertained, you know? And obviously, yeah, I'm trying to get better at that. I think everybody should. And just have those spaces and gaps where you can let your brain think and almost rest and re-energize. I think it's gonna make you better as a human being, a deeper thinker, and make more self-aware, and also just like more creative, more interesting, and enjoy the fruits of life more. Yeah. There's something else I wanted to say. I don't remember, but hopefully that was interesting. Give me like some ideas of like other spaces when you can just sit and think down below. And also dedicating time to it. Oh yeah, I wanted to say, it's also just dedicating time to it, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna go out for a walk right now. Like even just going out for a walk with my dog. Like I was, okay, yesterday I was scrolling Instagram for like, I don't know, maybe 2 hours after I came back from work. Cause I was like, I don't have anything else to do. And it's like dopamine hits. and I was seeing like, I was seeing like lifestyle videos on Instagram, like people going out and living life, right? And I was like, damn. I was kind of like, ooh, I'm not really doing that. Like, I wish I was. That'd be more fun. But then I was still feeling happy when watching those videos. I was like, ooh, it's kind of a fake fulfillment, because I think my brain has some kind of perception that this is what we're achieving in life, or this is like part of our life somehow. But it's a fake fulfillment, because I do feel kind of happy and dopamine from it. But then yeah, it's not actually like the real thing. So then I had to walk my dog regardless, and I said I would. And so after scrolling Instagram, you know, my brain felt like numbed. I was like, oh shit. But I just went out for a walk, and oh my god, I felt so much better. I feel like I was in the real world again and connected. I was like, bro, this is also like the life, you know, you have to appreciate the pieces of life that you get. And this actually linked to a book called 4,000 Weeks that I read, for time management for immortals. Because it's about appreciating the pieces of life that you get. Because on Instagram, I see all these different pieces of life, all these different people living all these different lives, but they're all living different lives and they don't all get the same experiences. And you have to understand that you're gonna die, meaning that you can't experience everything. So you're bound to miss out on some things in life and some experiences, and actually many. So you kind of just have to be grateful for the experiences you do get, and be really grateful for them and appreciate them, you know, because you're not gonna be able to do everything, and you're not, it's just the truth. So you kind of got to be grateful for the experiences you get. So I think I talked about this in another video. It's kind of like always envying the person's outsides, comparing them to your insides. I didn't say it like that, but it's the idea that, you know, I may see somebody else traveling a ton on Instagram, but I don't realize that they have a horrid relationship with their family, and like they don't have a good relationship with their brother or their mom or their dad. Whereas for me, maybe right now, I mean, I have traveled a lot, but right now I'm not traveling, so I'd be like, oh, I wish I was traveling. But you don't realize that they have a horrid relationship with their parents, and you just gotta be grateful that you have a great relationship with your parents. And it's not even necessarily like that. That's just like maybe my example. But there's definitely, I wish there's some kind of like that for everybody. And yeah, the other thing I wanted to say was, so think about another time, because this links back to the thinking and the spaces. Think about another time when you have space to think. Is like when before you go to bed, right? I don't know if anybody else suffers from this, but like, I don't know, I can't go to sleep like super quickly because, bro, I get sleep and all my brain wants to do is think, and I'm repeating things that happen in my day. I'm thinking about ideas. I'm like thinking about tomorrow. I'm thinking about, like, it's not anxious. It's just kind of like, it's actually kind of fun, but it's like distracts me from going to bed. And the reason for that is because when you're gonna go to sleep, that is when you actually have no distractions, right? And because your brain hasn't been able to do all this thinking yet, there's a reason why you're doing all that thinking before you go to bed, because your brain hasn't done it yet throughout the day. And it's also just to show you that if this happens to you, that it actually is natural, right? And like, this is that's just an example for me to show you that this thinking does actually happen when you do step all the stimulus and like phones basically, and like music. Not that it's bad to listen to music or whatever, but it is good time. It is good to have spaces. You can just kind of think and let the brain wander in a sense. Whether even you're thinking about anything or not, your brain's probably doing something in the background. Yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to share. And hopefully you could, yeah. Also, like these videos, for example, this is like, I encourage everybody to make a YouTube channel like this. Make them public or private videos. I kind of make them because I want to watch them in the future, and then they're public, so if I ever lose the account or the videos, they're always on YouTube and I can find them. That was one reason why. But like this camera is like a way for me to rebound my ideas and articulate my thoughts. So in a way, this is like an opportunity for me to kind of do that wandering and that thinking of my brain. And because I'm actually articulating it, I'm becoming better and more concise with my thoughts, which is important. Another one is journaling. You can write them down. I think one of my friends was doing that, and he was telling me about it, or he's telling me you should write down your ideas, because then you have to think about them and write them in a concise, clear way. So I encourage everybody to make videos like this, even if you don't post them to YouTube or whatever. I post them to YouTube because it kind of helps me keep accountable, because I'm like, come on, you're working toward this goal of like getting lots of comments and consistently posting one video a week. So yeah, anyways, like I was debating whether I should make a video. I was like, bro, fuck it, like I'm gonna just see what comes out. And I was thinking about this earlier, so yeah. Anyways, do comment, don't like, and subscribe after watching 2 videos. Peace.